Good afternoon, visionary parents. How are you doing today? We are live. Yeah. So today we are looking at your parenting style. We have audited our parenting. We have set our goals. Today we are going to sit down and look at our parenting styles. After looking at your own parenting style, then we cannot talk about the skills you need because you have goals. Your goals are your destinations. You know what you want to see, what you want to do, and everything. So you need skills to be able to get there. You need the capacity. So we are going to talk about the skills, but before we go into the skills, we'll first of all talk about parenting styles. Yes, because this is the foundational class. We have audited our parenting, we have set our goals. Now it's time to look at our parenting styles and, of course, the skills we need. Apologies that I'm just starting. This class is usually 12 o'clock. You know that it is 12 o'clock that we start this class on Tuesdays. However, today I had a small emergency I needed to quickly attend to. It just came up, and there was no time for me to communicate. So I sincerely apologize for that. And yes, I sincerely apologize for that. If you're in the Visionary Parent Academy, I sincerely apologize to you for that. So my name is Enimi Orebo, and this is the Visionary Parent Academy with Enimi Orebo. This channel is brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy, an academy where parents get empowered, get equipped, get to learn how to parent the child they actually have, how to raise the child they have, so that at the end of the day, the world will thank us for the gifts of our children we have given them, and not children who the world will curse us for. Thank you. So we started this year with auditing your parenting, and then we'll move to goals. Today we are looking at understanding your own parenting style. That is the way you parent your children, the pattern you parent your children. What we do not realize is that the pattern, the way you parent your children, when you do, okay, thank you, good afternoon, ma'am. The way you parent your children, your pattern, your style is what you put in. What you put in determine what you get. Intentions and actions are not the same things. Very many times, we have a lot of intentions. We have good intentions for our children, but our actions don't always align with our intentions. So today we want to sit down and actually understand what our actions say about our parenting. Let's go. So we have different parenting styles. We have the authoritarian, we have the authoritative, we have the permissive, we have the neglective parenting style. I'll start with the authoritarian parenting. Now here's what we are going to do. I am going to describe it, and then I'm going to describe it, and then you are going to sit down, take your pen, take your pad, and see, do you fall under this style? Is this how you praise your child? Because the truth of the matter is, very many times, if we do not do self-assessment, we will not know, we will not realize it. We will go out all defensive. I've heard parents say several times, no, it is not me. This is not what I do. Nah, really? This is not what you do. This is not you, really. Now, this is because we have our intentions are different actually from our actions. So what you want to do now is to sit down. As I describe each parenting style, you want to ask yourself, is this me? Does this describe me? Then if it describes you, we are going to also talk about the effect on your children, as well as the skills you need to get the skills you need to actually parent better. So we have the authoritarian parenting, and I always like to say it is I told you so kind of parenting. You know, that kind of parenting where your children can't speak, they don't have a voice. You don't even realize it. As a parent, you may not even realize what you are doing. You are just imposing. Always, you feel, your children don't know anything. You know better. So when they have a voice, you are complaining too much. It's not as if you don't intend to shut them. You do not intend not to give them a voice. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of factors will come to play. One of the factors is you are constantly pressured. If you are constantly pressured, you realize that you will just tip towards being authoritarian. Another factor is your temperament. Your temperament will just push you towards being authoritarian. Another factor is the way you were raised. Your culture cultural programming, religion programming, they will all come together to push you towards authoritarian. You may not even realize it. For example, when you say, oh, foolishness abounds in the heart of the child, and it's only the rod of correction that drives it away. When you take that quote of the scripture, you put it in your head, when your child does something, you just conclude it's foolishness. You are not pausing to think. No, you are not letting them talk. It's not because you don't want to, but because of religion has programmed you to see your child's behavior in certain ways. Another thing is, growing up, people say, oh, my parents did this and I turned out well. You will have that mindset. Your parent did it, you turned out well. So why wouldn't you do it? So if your parent did not allow you to talk, they didn't allow you to speak, your opinion did not matter, you are likely going to also make it happen to your child. Not because you want to, because of how you were raised. Pressure is another one. Oh my God, you are tired. You are tired and you want to relax, and your child is coming with a lot of things. You are just you don't know when you are sleeping. Now, this is one of the things we do in the Visionary Parent Academy is our emotional intelligence class. When we do that, we are going to go through everything that interferes with our emotional intelligence. Everything that sabotages us, everything that kind of holds us back, and everything that doesn't allow us to be emotionally intelligent. Hello, thank you for joining. We are going to look at all of that. So let's go again. Let me describe the typical authoritarian parent. The authoritarian parent is the parent that says, because I said so. Mommy, why should we? Because I said so. Mommy, do we want to know why? Because I said so. You give no. You don't owe your children explanations. You don't even, like I said, sometimes it's not because you don't want to explain to them. Like if you are choleric, for example, you are a driver, you are someone who is busy, you have high energy. You don't have time for pettiness. So when your children tend to exhibit some traits, a parent shared one time how a teacher told her that her son was soft, that she should toughen the child up. Imagine that teacher, maybe programming or anywhere it's coming from. Her level of toughening the child up, her definition may be, don't pay attention to the child when he's crying. When you're supposed to be emotionally available for your child, deny the child of that emotional availability. Now, this is what a choleric parent will likely do by nature, except that parent is intentional, that parent has built their intentionality and emotional intelligence. That is what that parent is likely going to do. So again, I said, it's not like, oh, it's your fault. You just wake up and say, oh, I want to be authoritarian. No, it doesn't work like that. Some factors come to play and they make you authoritarian in your parenting. So one, how do you know if you're authoritarian or you are not? One is, like I said, I call you because I said so. We see there because I said so. Children don't have a voice. They don't have an opinion. Things have to be done the way you want them to be done. I was sharing, I don't know if I shared this in the Visionary Parent Academy. I was telling a parent the other day, she was talking about her children. I was telling her that, why don't you just set the standard and leave them? You don't have to tell them when, how to do things. No. Tell them how you want this thing done. Give them a standard. Give them a time frame. For example, talking about dishes. Your children know that, before they go to bed, they are going to do dishes. Leave it like that. So make sure your kitchen is arranged in such a way that if dishes are dirty, there's a place you put them. If dishes are dirty, if you are like me, I don't like my kitchen being messy. I don't like it. So it is why we have the rule in my house that once you finish eating, you wash your dishes. No matter who you are, you finish eating, you do. Of course, except maybe mommy can delegate, daddy can delegate. Mommy and daddy, they won't try to do their things on their own too. So when you're done, I don't like stacking plates, come everywhere stinking. I don't like it. So if that's not your rule, instead of you to come out and be having a headache every time, you can say, okay, when you are done eating, put your dish in a particular place. So at the end of the day, before you go to bed, these dishes must be washed. So it doesn't matter if your child is washing it by 4 p.m. or your child is washing it by 8 p.m. as long as it is before bedtime. So authoritarian parents, they have high control and low emotional connection. They are always controlling what everybody around them do. If they are husbands, they are controlling wives, controlling children. If they are wives, they are controlling husbands, they are controlling children. If they have words, people around them, they don't even just control people around them, they don't even control people in their family, they control people around them. I'm talking about this now, I'm just I remember someone in my family, she's late now, she was very authoritarian. Ooh, she had a good heart, yes. They always have a vision, they know what they want, you know. She had a good heart, she knew what she wanted, and she was very sacrificing. But when it comes to being authoritarian, give it to her. Nobody ever was more authoritarian than her. You know, controlling people around. You always control your children. I saw a post the other day, a mom was telling, the daughter was saying that she didn't like a particular dress the mom gave her, that the dress was too short. The mom was trying to ask the girl, why is this dress short? So I went under the comment section, people were saying all sorts of manners, why will your child determine the clothes they want to wear? And I was now like, parents, we need to learn to choose our battles. There are so many things you are going to have to like, there are so many things you are going to clash with your child over, no matter how intentional you are. There are so many things you are going to clash over. Clothes to wear should not be part of it, because by the time clothes to wear becomes part of it, then you are sounding like a broken record. Like I shared in the Visionary Parent Academy the other day, when we went for a school PTA, the school head, the teachers were describing her. So I told the woman, do you know that you are constantly shouting? You want to communicate, you are shouting. You feel they fear you. They are not fearing you, they feel irritated. They feel irritated. You are sounding like you are becoming noisy in their ears. So when they see you, they're like, this woman don't see come again with her wahala. Gosh, this woman again. So when they leave the school, it's not because they are leaving because they fear you, or because they cannot deliver. No, they will leave the school because you are giving them a headache. You are becoming a noisemaker. You are becoming a broken record. So that's exactly what happens in parenting. High control, no emotional connection. You are just all over the place, controlling everything, controlling outcomes, controlling processes, controlling everything. So if you are parents and you're always controlling, you have to decide the clothes your child will wear. You have to decide the channel they'll watch. You have to decide, not that you have a structure, you don't have a structure. On the spot, you have to decide what they eat. So even when they are not comfortable with a particular one, it has to be what you want. You don't even have time to listen to them. You know that you are tilting towards being authoritarian. Another thing is rules without explanations. I've talked about this. You have rules. Your children cannot ask you, mommy, why is this rule so? Or why are these rules so? They cannot ask you, why is this like this? They cannot ask you because it is you said so. It is you said so. They cannot even ask you. They just, anything you say, jump is how high. Why? Because you are not a parent that is askable. You are not an askable parent, so they cannot come and ask you. So if your children cannot ask you about rules, about expectations, know that you are tilting towards being authoritarian. You value obedience more than understanding. It doesn't matter whether your child understands you or not. What you want is for them to obey. Obey before complain. Obey the instructions. That is just all you want. You want them to obey. So no matter what it is, obey. Don't complain. Do it my way. Obey. If you are always insisting on obedience, if obedience is something that is so important to you over understanding, then you realize that you are tilted towards becoming an authoritarian parent. You just want them to obey. It doesn't matter. Just obey. That is you being authoritarian. Discipline is fear-based. That's the last one. That's straight. Discipline is fear-based. You discipline your child to instill fear. One of the things I always say to parents is that the goal of discipline is to reach the heart. Everything you are doing in your parenting, make sure nurturing conviction, it is at the bottom. Is it at the bottom or the tip of your parenting? Nurturing conviction simply means that getting to the heart of your child. Because making your child believe, making your child believe. Do everything to make them believe. I shared this in the Visionary Parent Academy the other time. I saw a video by a pastor, I saw a video by a pastor, and he was explaining how he asked if we have ever thought why Jonah preached to the people of Nineveh. He preached to them, and within a short period of time, they repented. People that were in sins for a long time. Then Jonah just came and preached to them. They repented. He said something that I have never ever heard before. He said he as a pastor, he went to research. He realized that the people of Nineveh, they had different gods they served. Small letter G God. One of the gods, the image of the god was a fish, like a man being drawn out of a fish. That was the image of one of the gods. So now imagine Jonah, imagine the people by the riverside fishing, trading, maybe doing their laundry, doing all different activities they do by the seashore or by the riverside, and then someone just comes out, a big fish comes out and spits someone out. He said, you don't need any conviction, you don't need any sermon or anything. Jonah did not even have to talk much. The only thing he needed to tell them was, I was sent by the God of the Most High. That was one way, because and when the man said that, I said, this makes a lot of sense, because it would have taken a whole, I don't know what else he would have been able to do to convince them. I don't know, people who were already sold that to sin. Just like if you're a Christian, you also know the story of Apostle Paul. I was telling my children one time, I said, Apostle Paul, someone who was already persecuting the Christians, there is no amount of sit down, let me preach to you, that would have converted him. Because there is no amount of, or I heard the man did miracle. No. So God had to look for a way to convince him by himself. So what am I trying to say? You can see all of them. When Jonah came out of the belly of the fish, the people were convinced, they repented, because God tapped into their conviction. The same thing as Paul that was persecuting Christians all over the place. But as soon as he got that conviction, maybe he was the one that was now radical for Jesus. I'm just sorry about deviating from the Bible. If you are not a Christian, I just wanted to use this to buttress my point. What am I trying to say? I always say to parents that one of the things we want to do in our parenting is to reach the heart of the child. Nurture conviction. When we are able to reach the heart of the child, then we are not talking about they will uphold your values naturally, and they will run with your values, because you are able to reach their heart. Now, when you are parenting them, when your discipline is about fear, you are not reaching the heart of your child. When your discipline is fear-based, I've asked this question before. I said, if you are no longer in the picture, will your child still run with your values? It is why we see very many children at home, they cover up. I remember my sister had a sister-in-law, maybe the husband's cousin or niece, something like that, who was at home. They were deeper lifers. Those kind, in those days, they didn't allow television. That was how much they were in their home. Good Christians, everything. And the girl was attending a Christian university, and they didn't allow them to. They didn't allow them to express their dressing to the extreme. So, but this girl, those clothes that their parents did not allow them wear, she had it in her box. So whenever she was going to school, she would bring them, drop them at my sister's place, then she will go. Which when they are on vacation, she will carry the box and then she will wear them. She can stay there for a while, go to her friend's place for a while, and she'll start wearing them. And they're not children who were raised in such a home, but they would never do a thing like that. The thing is conviction, not fear-based. When you are parenting based on fear, when your discipline is inflicting pain, oh, you flog the child, not only this child cries, I will not stop. Nah, when you are inflicting pain on your child, it's fear-based. When your child, when they have done something and when they have done something, yes, that is something. There's always a natural consequence of their actions. They will face it. But when their fear is the discipline you are going to met on them, fear-based. When you are raising your child fear-based, when your child is afraid of you. I know very many children, when they see their parents, they start, maybe they've done something, their parents are there, the next thing, they'll lose composure. When your discipline is fear-based, bear it in mind that you are an authoritarian parent and you are not reaching the heart of your child. Okay, let's go. Let's look for being authoritarian has its own good sides. One is structure. Yes, your children will behave. They will be ordered. You have clear authority. They will fear you. They will behave. Your house will be like military zone, barracks. Your children will behave if you are authoritarian parents. Now, this is one of the things we mistake very well in parenting. You will say, I'm getting results. I'm getting results. You know, the results you are getting, what kind of results are you getting? You hear parents say, do what works for you. I'll do what works for me. I'm getting results. Parents say this a lot. What kind of results are you getting? You are getting results. That is it. Because if you're authoritarian, you are going to get results. Your children are going to behave because they are scared. They are going to behave because they are scared. They are going to behave because they don't want your trouble. But the truth of the matter is, that behavior is not sustainable because it's just temporary. So you are not reaching their hearts. Let's look at a risk in when you are raising, when you are authoritarian in your parenting. What are the risks? Your children become fearful, some become rebellious, and some become secretive. It's so true. You know, some children become fearful, they fear you. Some become rebellious. If you have a strong-willed child, also they want to give it to you. Growing up, I witnessed a girl fighting the father, literally held the father by the trousers. You know, they were dragging here and there. So when you are authoritarian, your children, if you have choleric children, if you have not just even choleric children, if you have also strong-willed children, there's every tendency that they will rebel. They will do what you don't want to do. They will stand up to you. They will deliberately annoy you because they've had enough. Yes, some children will be secretive. They will not be able to tell you things. They will hide. Why? Because they do not want your drama. And then, lastly, they will become fearful. They will become fearful. So let me ask you a question for you to ask yourself these questions. Do your children comply but struggle to communicate honestly? You ask them to do something, they do it. The days they can't do it, they are lying. You know they are lying. Do they always lie? Always lie to you? If your children always lie to you, you actually want to ask yourself, are you an authoritarian parent? If you are, your children, they are likely going to lie to you. Do you see children asking you questions as disrespect? That's number 2. If your child asks you, Mommy, why do you want us to do this? Daddy, why is this so? And you feel offended, how dare you? Just know that you are definitely authoritarian. If your children cannot ask you questions, you are authoritarian in your parenting. Again, it is not about now, it's about the future. The truth of the matter is, you will say, oh, it works for me. Let me do what works for me. We've seen parents say that a lot on social media. It works for me. You get obedience in the moment. You get your child to comply in the moment. Doesn't mean it is working. Because if you are not in the picture, is this still going to work? If it's not working behind you, then it's not working for you at all. Except whether you are in or you are out is working, then it is working. But if when you are out, it is not working, it is not working. Let's go to the next parenting, authoritative parenting. This is where everyone should be. This is who everyone should be. Everyone should be the authoritative parent. They are firm, warm, and intentional. It is the healthiest parenting style. Let's look at the key traits. High expectations with high support. You expect high for your children. You don't want them to settle for less. You don't want them to just be mediocres. You don't want them to settle for less. So you set high expectations, and those high expectations, you know that they need support. You don't leave them to figure it out. You back them up. You go with them. That is it. Now, rule number 2, you explain rules. There is always a why behind rules, and one of the reasons why you should explain rules as parents is that when you explain rules, you are teaching and reinforcing your values to your children. They understand why. No matter what it is, there's always an age-appropriate way to explain things to children. I always talk about it. There is always an age-appropriate way to explain things to children. You explain rules. You just don't sit down and just set rules. Like I was sharing the Visionary Parent Academy the other time. You don't sit down, okay, yes, in my children's school PTA. You don't sit down. It is not like, oh, it's a new school. If it's a new school, you say, okay, these are my rules and regulations. Let anyone coming into the school abide, follow. No, it's an existing school. You've had these teachers for a long time. So they had a new supervisor, and everywhere is chaotic. I says, everybody invite everyone. Sit down and create your rules. Have them give you the consequences. Tell them if you come late, what happens? They are the ones that will open their mouth and tell you. And then you implement it. So when you are implementing it, they will not be able to hold back. After all, you were the one that said if you come late, you should be subcharged. So an authoritative parent, they have high expectations and support their children. They have rules and they explain the rules. The children understand why these rules are important. The discipline with relationship. The child has made a mistake. They want to discipline the child. They first of all connect with the child. They first of all empathize with the child. They feel the child before they go ahead to discipline. They do not correct with humiliation. No. And like I said, the authoritative parenting is the finest, the healthiest parenting style everyone should adopt. So if you're an intentional parent and you have goals and you want to smash your goals, no matter what your goals are, being authoritative is the parenting style you should adopt. High expectations with high support. Rules have explanations. It is not like the authoritarian that said, it's because I said so, because I'm your mother, because I know best. No. You are not the authoritarian, you are the authoritative. So you are going to explain your rules. You correct with connection. You discipline with empathy. To correct with connection simply means that before you correct your child, you must have empathy. You bring your child to the same space. When I say space, emotional space with you. Then after understanding your child deserves a voice. I know sometimes children can be all over the place. You can feel, oh, my child is pushing me or something. That can make you want to react or respond. But connecting simply means that you are going to pause, swallow your saliva, drink your water, you are in a good place, then you listen to your child. You listen to what your child has to say, the reason behind their misbehavior, before you now go ahead to discipline them. And then in the Visionary Parent Academy, we already have our discipline discipline. So you already know what you will do that will get you into trouble. You already know if you do A, you are going to get B. I always use, if I had my pen here, I would have used this. I always use a pen for my children like this. I tell them that this is it. This is your behavior, and this is our family agreed consequence. So if you pick a pen like this, you're automatically picking the other side. Even if you want to use one hand to pick it, no matter how much, you are automatically picking up the other side. So it simply means that if you choose to do A, You already have it in mind that you're already prepared to receive the B. So let's look at the strengths of the authoritative parenting. You build confidence in your child because they realize that, yes, I matter, my voice matters. You build confidence in your child. You raise responsible children. You encourage respect and emotional intelligence. Authoritative parenting aligns with your long-term goals. Yes. Encourage respect. If your child asks you questions, you answer. It shows that you are respecting that child, and the child will learn how to respect other people as well. However, one of the reasons why people find it difficult to take this method is that it requires patience, it requires consistency, it requires skills. It is hard work. Authoritative parenting is hard work. You need to be patient because, yes, sometimes you are pressured, but you realize, okay, the goal is not just about now, it's about tomorrow. So because it's about tomorrow, you are going to pause and do the things that will actually make it about tomorrow. That is a lot of hard work. I tell my teenagers in church that, see, hard work is not about carrying heavy loads. You see somebody pushing wheelbarrow under hot sun. I tell them that is not hard work. I say hard work is you pushing yourself away from your comfort zone, doing that thing that is not easy for you. I said the person carrying wheelbarrow under hot sun, the person may just be, he may be doing it for fun. You will be saying that, this person, chair is here, a lot of work. But the person may have options. That is the easiest work for the person to do, and they will pick that up. So that does not define hard work. Hard work is doing the hard things, pushing yourself from the comfort zone. That is where intentional parenting is hard work, because you cannot be on autopilot. You cannot wing it. You have to constantly do that thing that you don't feel like doing. Do that thing that your mind doesn't want you to do at the moment. Intentional parenting is hard work. Now, this is one of the major disadvantages of authoritative parenting. It is hard work to stretch you. However, your results will be worth more than the stretch it is stretching you. Another thing is, if you do not know how to hold your boundaries, you may easily slip into permissive parenting. You may easily just move from being authoritative to permissive parenting. Many parents don't know where to draw the lines. It is why they have issues. When you take a typical authoritarian parent, you tell them, okay, let's talk about being authoritative. You realize that if they do not set boundaries, they don't understand, they are likely going to fall from being authoritarian to being permissive. So let's go. Now ask yourself these two questions to know if you are authoritative parenting. Do you combine firmness with empathy? Do you combine firmness with empathy? Number 2 is, are you consistent even when you are emotionally tired or you are physically tired? Are you consistent? Now, to help you stay consistent, I know, like I said, it's hard work. It is not easy. If you just want to go by your strength, it is not easy. It is why in the Visionary Parent Academy, we have my family constitution. So even when you are tired, you are not reactive, because you have my family constitution. So instead of you to react, you fall back. My family constitution gives the rules, the regulations, gives the consequences. So at the end of the day, you are not reactive because you have my family constitution. Now, this is where I get to tell you about the Visionary Parent Academy. If you have not registered with us for 2026, please come and register with us. Registration is still ongoing, and it's a very, very highly empowering academy. So send a message on how you can join. Our fee is 84,000 naira only, and it covers you for the entire 2026, from January to December, mid-December 2026. That is, you will be in the academy. You will learn a lot. We have a lot of activities ongoing. If you have questions, please drop in the comment section. and I'm sure even if I don't take it, someone in the Visionary Parent Academy will take it and they will explain to you. Okay, thank you. Let's go. We've talked about being authoritative, and I said it is hard work. It is the parenting style that is most that you need in your parenting. However, it is hard work. As much as it's hard work, it will give you the result. Success is not soft work. I behind them they call them. Success is hard work. So authoritative parenting is hard work. The next one is permissive parenting. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I remember there was one book we read one time in the Visionary Parent Academy. The author was talking about how we raise children in the name of low self-esteem, or rather in the name of not wanting to raise children with low self-esteem. We now raise entitled children. He was talking about how grades, how positions have been scrapped from school. He said something about, oh, the school used to have first position, second position, but now there is no position in very many schools. He also talked about how prizes have been scrapped from schools. You know, schools used to have, okay, best in this is the prize. Now every child has a prize. Why? Because parents will say, oh, they don't want their children to have low self-esteem, or they want to raise children with high self-esteem. When you are trying to do that, at the end of the day, you are even sabotaging yourself, because you are motivating low effort. You are rewarding unproductivity. You are rewarding low effort. So permissive parenting, that typically describes permissive parenting. I don't want to hurt their feelings. There was a story I shared with my children one time about I don't know where I got the story from, if it's related to the story of Anini the armed robber back in Benin City. I don't know, but I know that this is kind of a popular story, even though I'm not sure where I got the story from. I think my video is not very clear because I just got a screen guard and I think it's blocked my screen. It blocked my camera. I didn't even realize it. Can you imagine? Okay, so I was talking. So they said the boy was, when it was in court, and eventually he was sentenced for robbery. When he was going to be taken out of the court, he asked to see his mom. His mom came and he beat his mom's ear. And when the judge was angry, why will you bite your mom's ears? He said, when I was young, I was stealing, I was doing all these things, I was showing tendencies, and my mom, instead of my mom to correct me, she didn't want me to hurt my feelings, so she allowed me. If she had corrected me when I was much younger, perhaps I would have turned out well. Very many parents, permissive. Children cry for something, oh, should give them. Especially in this time and era that we are talking about intentional parenting. Very many parents, they don't know the difference. They don't know how to draw the boundaries. They don't. A teacher in my church was telling me about a woman. There's this woman that her kids are not in mine. They are in my church, but her kids don't come to children's class. So he was telling me randomly that the reason they don't come to children's class is because the older daughter did something, and I don't know who corrected the girl, and that was how the mom came from somewhere. I think the girl went to tell the mom. Then the mom came and was telling him that I didn't bring my daughter here for you to come and teach. Leave her alone. Don't teach her anything. You know? Yes. Permissiveness in parenting. Very many parents are permissive in their parenting. Allow their children to get away. Sometimes we don't even realize it. We think, oh, we are protecting the child. We think, oh, we don't want the child we don't want to hurt the child's feelings. We feel, oh, want the child to be self-confident. We feel, oh, want the child to have high self-esteem, and we become permissive. Let's look at how to know you are permissive. I call them, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt my children's feelings. That shows if you are constantly on the I don't want to hurt their feelings, you are definitely permissive. High affection, low boundaries. Yes, you don't have boundaries. You don't have boundaries. Anything goes. Even when you say no, you don't want it, your child will just come and, okay, they start crying, or they start doing googly eyes, like they say. They start doing the googly eyes, and then you give in. It simply means you have low boundaries. Especially if you have nannies or people around you, they are always picking up for your child. Even when they try to tell your child, do something, you come in to say, leave them. Or your child reports to you, you tell him, okay, go and sit down. You don't have boundaries. Boundaries is the structure you put in place, the disciplinary measure you have in place. It's not about beating, it's not yelling, it's not smacking or nagging or threatening or any of that. It's just the child knows what to do. You know what to do because you know that what you are asked to do, if you don't do it, there is a consequence. So you just know what to do. Nobody comes to tell you. Nobody even has to take that consequence away from you, even remind you, because you know what to do. So boundaries. If you have high affection, you love your child so much so they can get away with anything, because you love them, they can get away with anything. Know that you are permissive. Few rules and inconsistent discipline. You have few rules and then you have inconsistent discipline. Today, the child does something, you smack. Tomorrow, they do the same thing, you allow them. Next tomorrow, they do the same thing, you are not consistent. Someone reports them to you, you are just everywhere. Your discipline measure is everywhere. You are not consistent. The child cannot predict you. They cannot know, okay, this is what we will do that will get us into trouble. This is what we will do that they don't know. You are not consistent. That simply tells you that you are a permissive parent. The last one is you avoid conflict. You don't even want to clash with your child. I beg, I don't want this child's wahala. You know, if you don't give him that thing, he will start crying. Please give him. If you don't give him, he'll start crying. You are being permissive. You are super being permissive. If you take television away from him, he will start crying. It's bedtime. But if I want to impose bedtime, or if I take the screen away, he'll be throwing tantrums and spoiling things. Really, you are being permissive. He's not supposed to go out and play with his friends, but he wants to. All his friends are playing. He has not finished his homework. We agreed that if he doesn't finish his homework, he will not go out and play. But all his friends are playing, and let him just go. When he's done, he will come and finish the homework. You are being permissive. You are being permissive. If you cannot stay consistent, if you don't have boundaries, you cannot stay consistent. If you just do things as the Spirit leads you, you are permissive. Let's look at something that happens when you are being permissive. You have a warm relationship with your child. Yes, initially your child can do anything and they can get away with it. So you are happy, they are happy, everyone is happy, because they know they can do anything. I saw where someone wrote that she was in a vehicle and this child was insulting her, being at him. Then the mom now said, leave him. I believe her. She's learning how to talk, She's learning how to talk. So when you have a very warm relationship with your child, yes, when you are permissive with your child, you have a very warm relationship with your child, because your child is comfortable with you. They know they will get away with anything. They'll do anything and they'll get away with it. You always be there to cheer them, to support them. That is one thing about being permissive. Another thing is your child feels loved and heard. Yes, your child feels loved and heard. Oh, my mommy loves me, and they feel heard, and my voice matters. That is why they have nannies, they have people around in your house working. They can just stand up and say, no, they don't want this. They can stand up to those people, and their voice will actually matter. Your child feels heard. That is one thing. Now let's look at the risk involved. One is poor self-control in children. Second is entitlement. Third is difficulty respecting authority outside the home. Yes, poor self-control. Because when you set your boundaries, when you're authoritative, you have your boundaries, you are setting boundaries. You are restricting their excesses. You are telling them they can't do everything they want to do. You have set boundaries. That boundary will help your child to learn self-discipline. Will help them to learn when to stop. Self-discipline. But when you don't have boundaries, it simply means they can do anything. And guess what? They will grow up thinking they can do anything, including forcing people against their will. They will be entitled. They are used to getting everything. They are used to having everything work in their way, in their favor. So why not? They are entitled. They believe the world revolves around them. So it has to be about them. It is about them. They feel entitled because you are permissive in your parenting. And if they can't respect you at home, why would they respect you outside? They are used to not respecting you. They are used to not stop when you ask them to stop. They are used to not obey. This is a very common one. One way to know that you are permissive. Your children go out. They don't obey rules. They don't obey authorities. We see them every time in church. Even they see them in school too. They don't obey. It is because you are permissive at home. You have not taught them that, see, there is something called structure. There is something called authority. Obey. You have not taught them at home. So when they come outside, they don't have the skills. They don't have that. They can't just obey authorities. They can't. Because they did not learn it at home. So they will find difficulty respecting authority. Let's go. Let me ask you these two questions to help you know if you are permissive or not. One, do you feel guilty and enforcing boundaries? I gave an example. For example, you agreed with your child that, okay, if you don't do your chores, you are not going out to play. Now, they have not done their chores. Okay, let's say your child has a show they watch, a favorite show they watch. They have the show they watch on Saturdays, 4 p.m. and they know they have that show. You know they have that show. And then you told them that if you don't finish your chores, maybe your uniform, you don't wash your uniforms, you don't iron them, you don't do your dishes, you are not going to go out to watch that show. You are not going to watch that show. Now, they didn't do their chores, and the show is showing. The show is showing. Now, hello, thank you, ma'am, thank you. And the show is airing, right? It's on air. And they want to go and watch that show. What do you do as a parent? Do you insist they do their chores, or because you know that it's going to take them 30 minutes to do their chores, and the show is going to play for 30 minutes, which means if they now do their chores, they are going to miss the show. So as a parent, what are you going to do? If you're an authoritarian parent, you are even going to beat the hell out of them. They're not born them well, not even to do the chores before you come back. That's authoritarian parents. Authoritative parents, you've explained to the child, they are going to face the consequences of their actions. Like I tell my children, you are always communicating. You communicate. So you not doing your chores before the show started simply means you are telling me that you don't care about the show. So when the show, like I was explaining to somebody this morning, I drove my children to school. So we're coming back. Yesterday we walked to school. So she was asking me, I told her that I told my children already, once we are ready by 7:10, we say our prayers and we go to school. We leave the house 7:20 because the school is about 5 to 7 minutes drive. So we leave the house about 7:15 or so, then we'll get to the school 7:20. But if you I will drive you to school. If you finish everything 7 o'clock and we'll say our prayers, I'll drive you to school. 7:10 we are done, I'll drive you to school. But if you are 20 minutes, if it's 7:20, I will not drive you to school. And she was looking at me and like, make it make sense. You will not drive them to school. Are you not supposed to drive them to school when they are running late compared to when they are early? I said no. They already know what they are supposed to do. The previous night they prepare, they know everything they are supposed to do. So if they are dragging their feet in the morning, it simply means that they want to be late. They are telling me that, Mom, today I feel like going late to school. And I will oblige them. So if they now finish early, it simply means they are telling me that, oh, Mom, I want to be super early to school. Now, because they want to be super early to school, I will help them get early to school by driving them. But when they waste time, they want to be late to school, I will help them to be late to school. I said, that is just the logic. That is the explanation. So I will not say, oh, because you have a test, because you have an exam, that I will not come and drive you to school. No. You already know you had that. So you had factored all of that into your own mind before you now decided to drag your feet. So that is it. So permissive parents will say, oh, you were supposed to do your dishes, but this show is showing. Oh yeah, go and watch the show. After the show, make sure you come and do the dishes, so I will not hear. Then after the show, the child is still dragging. Then you start yelling all over the place because you are permissive. You don't have boundaries. Like I've used this as an example a while ago. You pick it up here, here follows. I tell my children every time you are communicating, what is your action communicating? This action of yours, what did it just communicate? It's up to you, you know. And I always tell them that, see, I have comprehension issues. So is you can be communicating one thing and I'm actually interpreting another thing. I'm interpreting another thing based on what I'm seeing on ground. So you cannot tell me that I wanted to when you have been here standing with the thing since morning. You're not telling me I wanted to. I don't understand that kind of comprehension though, you know. It's just funny. So what am I trying to say? If you're a permissive parent, you feel guilty enforcing boundaries. Oh, my child is going to miss out, so let him play. He's going to miss out. Let me let him join his mate. I know he did not earn it, but he's going to miss out. He will not be angry. He will be crying. He will be throwing tantrums. Permissive parenting. Another thing to know if you are permissive parenting is you are always negotiating rules. Negotiating rules. You have told your child, after this I will not allow it. And your child comes back again. They beg you, pretty please, mommy please. A typical example would be, let's say it's time to go to bed. Bedtime is 8 o'clock. They come and tell you, mommy, I'm not done watching my movie. 8 o'clock. Now, this is why before you even have your structure, have your boundaries, you just don't have them from nowhere. I say, you must look at your time. Is it possible to have more than one of these? Mommy, please explain to me what you mean by more than one of these. What are you referring to? You know, I said you already have set the rules. So every time your child comes forward, they want you to adjust it. You are adjusting. At the end of the day, you realize that they will just be manipulating you up and down. You have said, okay, 8 p.m. is bedtime. 8 p.m., they are not going to bed. They are crying. You say, okay, 30 more minutes. You are permissive. Because before you even put 8 p.m., there was a reason. For my children, for example, they already know. Before we set bedtime, we have to calculate the number of time. Like, yes. You can be authoritarian and yes. Let me give you a practical example. Some time ago, a parent reached out to me. I think I made a post on Facebook. I was talking about overparenting. So I was talking about overparenting. No, I was talking about parents thinking that, oh, it's not possible for you to yell and smack. You can actually parents start yelling and smacking and all of that. So the parent reached out to me and said no. She was trying to like tell me, okay, how is it possible? Like this morning that they were going to school, that as they were going to school, they were already ready for school. And then I realized that the son did not, I think the 11-year-old had been 12 years, I don't remember. The son could not find one leg of his shoe. So she was outside waiting, only for them to say, he has not found his shoe. So she got so angry, she yelled, she smacked him, and she joined him, and eventually she found the shoe he wore to school. I told him, that was you. You yelled, you smacked. In your mind, you have disciplines. No. You have just indulged him. You did not allow him face the consequence. Yelling and smacking was no consequence for that action. Was not. So it was just you being reactive. It was just you being chaotic. Because you still went to rescue him. You joining him to look for the shoe is you rescuing him. You are rescuing him. You have rescued him from the consequence of that action. You were not the one that told him to wear black shoes to school. Today I went to my son's school to pick him up. And because I was called, that was the small emergency I had. I was called that he wasn't well. I went to school to pick him. So before they brought him, I saw one fine sandals. I was asking the woman, this is beautiful. She now said, okay, she bought it for her children native. I said, wow, this is beautiful, really. So I actually had it in mind, like, this thing to be fine for my child's leg going to school. I had it in mind. But of course, I know that the school does not allow them wear sandals, shoes. So that was how I just left it. If probably the school allowed them wear sandals, I probably would have considered it. So you were not the one that asked them to be wearing that shoe. It's not your doing. So why will you now be the one to discipline him over that? You leave him, let him go to school. So you yelling and going to help him find it is overparenting. Is you rescuing them from thank you so much for joining, ma. Is you rescuing them. Is you rescuing them. And when you rescue your children, you are permissive. When you are rescuing them, you are permissive. Okay, so let's go. I don't know, I hope that is clear. So if you're a visionary parent, don't worry. At the end of the day, I'm going to give you a short test for you to sit down and look at your parenting to assess your own parenting style. And of course, you're also going to learn about what you can do. Okay, I said if you're always negotiating rules more than you enforce them, you are permissive. I've mentioned that. You've told your children is 1 p.m. you go inside. 1 p.m. they say, mommy, please, can I stay more? Can I stay more? You are looking at them because you don't want to hurt their feelings, you know. Not because there is a clause, not because you have a valid reason, because you don't want to hurt their feelings, you know. Okay, let them stay more. You are being permissive. Or a situation where you know that, okay, my child is not necessarily hungry. With the rule of the house is you are not taking snacks, maybe you are not taking snacks as so and so. Your child is not hungry and they want snacks, they are crying. You are just, okay, I'll just give you one, though. After this one, I will not give you another one again. You are being permissive because you don't have boundaries. The last one is neglectful parenting. Yes, neglectful parenting. Parents who you can actually be a parent, a stay-at-home parent. You can actually be with your child 24 hours and as you still neglect your child. You are absent physically or emotionally. Many parents, you are present physically, but emotionally you are absent. You are always busy, especially this time of social media. You are always on social media, watching one thing, listening to one thing, and at the end of the day, your child's needs, they don't even make it to the list. Let's look at key traits to know if you are neglectful or not. Minimal involvement. Parents brag about not attending school events, open day, PTA. Your child is something, maybe, have you seen those videos online where the children, maybe they are in a big ceremony, their parents are there, or they see their friends' parents, immediately they begin to look out for their own parents. I remember one time in Lagos where I had to pull my last born to join because my kids, they all went to the same school. However, my last born then, when I had him, my children's school did not have baby class. What do you call that baby class? Daycare. My children's school did not have daycare. So I registered him. And the daycare I used for the older children, they were close to the school. The woman had moved to another location entirely. So I had to register him in another daycare. And this woman was actually not my friend, we're just cool together. We had a good relationship. I remember then I was starting my etiquette journey with teenagers and she was helpful. So I registered my son there. So when he finished his daycare and play group, I just allowed him because of sentiment. I think I shared it here. When it comes to parenting, there's no sentiment. If it doesn't favor, if it's not child focused, if it's not about your child, there is no sentiment. You can play sentiment with your own life, but when it comes to your children, please, it has to favor your children. When I mean favor, it has to be about your children. For example, your friend has a school that is not up to standard, then you feel, because it's your friend, you put your child in that school. Or I see it a lot. You feel, what will people say? Because of that, you are going to maybe buy clothes or going all out to do things for your child just to impress people around. If it is not child-centered, if it is not about your child, don't do it. There's no sentiment in it at all. Because tomorrow, when the chips are down, if things don't go well, they are going to call you a careless, negligent, all sorts of manners parents. Okay, let's go. So because of that, I registered my child in the school. I just allowed him to just progress in the school. So the first year there, they were giving recognition award. I think it was play group. best in this, and he got a lot of awards. Guess what? I wasn't there, because coincidentally the day he was going to get his award was the same day my other kids were doing their graduation ceremony, and all of those other ones also needed me there. So I was thinking, okay, I will just go here, go there, and combine all of them together. Even that I had a speaking engagement, I had done that. I was thinking I'll just do here. At the end of the day, by the time I got to my kids' school, I was, when they say best in this, you as a parent you come, you do. By the time I finished all of that, I couldn't go back to his school again. By the time I got to his school, they had closed, and the teacher told me that, oh, he was crying, my mommy is not here. It was that day I just made up my mind that, Mrs. Ajibola, I'm so sorry. I realized there was no sentiment in it. I took my children to join the other school so that it would be easy for me. So if you have minimal involvement in your children's life, know that you are neglectful in your parenting. Emotionally unavailable. You are not emotionally available for your child because you have your issues. You are always pressured. You are always distracted. You are maybe a career woman, a career man. You are pursuing career. Just know that you are neglectful. In fact, I have one around me here. My kids were telling me about how the children, they are always on the street. Sometimes they don't wear pants. Maybe that one is like 7, 8. They don't wear pants. They are just running about the streets. I just told them, it's because the mom is a career woman, so she really doesn't have much time. And I think their dad doesn't stay here. So the truth of the matter is that is neglectful parenting. Lastly, if your child raises themselves, you are leaving them, there is no way you can be available and your child will be raising themselves. It's not possible. If your children are raising themselves, you don't know what is going on in their lives. You don't know when they need you. They are left to figure out things on their own. You are just neglectful in your parenting. It's not about being available, being at home with them. I remember when I was still in Lagos teaching, there was one day I was going to give we're going to have a dining etiquette with some of the children, one of my schools back then. So the school said they didn't have enough money to go to a hotel or rent fancy decoration and all of that. That they just wanted, they will ask the students to bring in their cutlery, dishes, and all of that. So and bring their food, of course, and we'll just do the teaching. I said, okay. So one of the boys, she brought a very fancy gold set of cutlery. We're talking about it, and he said, he got them from his auntie. I said, your auntie, why didn't you ask your mom? He said, if I had asked my mom, mommy wouldn't have given me. My mommy wouldn't have given me. So the mommy wouldn't have even listened to him. So he went to ask his auntie. Guess what? The following day I went to school, I was told that same boy's mom was in school that day. The woman even was in school. She was even just angry at the school. Why did they not add her son to the dining etiquette training that they had for other students? So what happened was that as she was going to her shop or something, she saw another parent rushing to the school, and she was asking the parent, why are you going? That one answered, that the son forgot his materials they needed for their dining etiquette, their plate, their cups, and everything. That was how she now knew that the son was asked to bring these things to school. And then she got upset and she came to the school. Why was her son not told? Neglectful parenting. Even though she was at home with the child, she did not know what the child was going through. She don't know what the child was asked to do. Neglectful parenting. Very many parents are guilty of this. You are home with your child, but you are not home with your child. You are present, you are not present. You don't know what your child is up to. They do things on their own. They just literally are raising themselves. No rules, no boundaries, no support. They are just raising themselves. That is neglectful parenting. Now let's look at some of the reasons why parents neglect their children. One is burnout. You have so much to do. You are pressured. Now, when we go into our emotional intelligence class, we are going to talk about this trauma, overwork. I've mentioned it, emotional overload. Some parents do not intend to to neglect their children or be authoritarian or be permissive, but somehow where they are coming from. I remember I had a colleague back then, and she was telling me about her elder sister. Her elder sister, the marriage was like not toxic, maybe toxic. The husband was always like the kind of relationship you see when the husband sees the wife, when the wife sees the husband, the wife is literally walking on eggshells, trying to be super careful. The other one will always find fault, they will always have issues. So because of that, the children were at the receiving end. The children were the one taking the hit. Because by the time the husband has done all his shouting and everything, and he was gone out of the house, the woman will now have all those bottled up energy, and she'll become highly irritable. Anything about the children will trigger her emotional overload. Risk. Let's look at the downside of being neglectful. Insecurity, low self-esteem, attachment issues. If you are neglectful parenting, you are not involved in your child's life, they will have insecurity. You know that already. Very many people today. Now I think about it, I honestly wish I can share a particular story. Insecurity. Your child will not be secure in themselves. They'll have low self-worth. You see a lot of people today, they have low self-worth. They try to hide under a lot of things. A lot of things. Your child will have low self-worth. Your child will have attachment issues. Like I said, if you're in the Visionary Parents Academy, don't worry, you are going to get a test for you to check out your parenting style. Yes, we can be more than one. No one is an absolute of one. We'll talk about parenting style, we'll talk about temperament. No one is an absolute of one, because no matter how authoritative you are, there are days you are overwhelmed. So there are days you are super overwhelmed. Those days you just want to realize that there are days that your children are disturbing you. You just want to say, I beg, go and have your way, you know. So what makes it negative is if that is your constant parenting style, if that is your consistent parenting pattern, that is why it's negative. But if it's once in a while, you can't be tagged, you know, because we all, even there are times you are not authoritarian. There are times you are authoritarian. There are times you just don't feel like, so you just see yourself. So once in a while, it is where we repair. In the Visionary Parents Academy, we are big on repair. It is why, because we know that we are humans. There is no way. How about now? See Pastor now, Dr. Polineche the other time. That woman came up the stage to give a testimony. How, when the woman talked about she being the first lawyer in her family, how he lambasted the woman right there on air, live coverage, you know. He may usually not be like that every day. He may not be like that every day, but because he's human, sometimes, you know, like people come and give testimonies, usually testimonies as if they are helping God. How do I put it? They're helping God to win or something like that. That was what kind of triggered him. So yes, as parents, we are also going to have our triggers. So once in a while, we see ourselves being permissive, being just oscillating, just not oscillating, and just we see some of these traits once in a while is okay. But when they become reoccurring, when they become a pattern, when they become consistent, that is when we should bother to be worried about. Let's talk about, ask yourself if you are a neglectful parent. Are you present in body, but you're absent minded when your child is around? When your child is with you, you are present in your body. They can see you are there with them, but you are pressing your phone. But you are lost in thought. But you are thinking of how to make money. You are thinking about the next thing to do. You are thinking about, so you are not really present. So when they are telling you something, you don't even know what they are telling you. You don't even know what they are telling you. You just see yourself responding randomly. You know that you are neglectful. Do you outsource your parenting to screens, school, church, and others? Do you outsource your parenting? You are at home with your child, is screen. Let them use the screen, I beg, so that they will not disturb you. Or let them go to church all the time so that they will not disturb you. Let them, like parents, I see this happen a lot during the holiday. Parents are always asking, when is school resuming? Really? school should come and parent your child for you. So neglectful parenting, you outsource your to screen, school, and church, and every other. These are the four types of parenting. I talked about authoritarian, I talked about authoritative, I talked about authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and neglectful. A visionary parent mom, I'm going to share the template with you for you to check out your parenting style and know how to do better. Then, if you're not in the Visionary Parent Academy, you can also get it from us. All you need to do is just to ask us how you can join. You can join, you get the materials, and all the materials we have used so far since we started this year's session, January 9th. So please do well to join us so that you are not missing too much already. Like I said, whatever your parenting style is not, many times it's not something you just wake up and say, okay, I want to be authoritarian, I want to be neglectful, I want to be permissive. No. A lot of factors came to play to shape you to be who you are in your parenting. Culture, religion, the way you were raised, your temperament, they are all part of what came together to shape you. And one thing you should realize is that your parenting style will determine the tools you will use. And the tools you will use will determine the outcome. They will determine the outcome of your parenting at the end of the day. So it simply means that what you want to do as a parent, you actually want to write your goals now, and then come and sit back and understand the style that fits your goal, because the style that fits your goal will now determine the tools you will use, and the tools you will use will now determine whether you are going to achieve your goals or not. Okay, let me wrap up by quickly taking you through what you can do, the skills you need. For example, if you lean towards being authoritarian, build these skills. If you lean towards being authoritarian, if you are not in the Visionary Parent Academy, you would have seen, and you have followed me, please take notes, check yourself and see where you fall. If you lean towards being authoritarian, build these skills. One, emotional validation. Learn to validate your children's emotions. Emotional validations. I always say to parents that children are human beings like you and I. Your child is a human being. They think the way you think. They think the way I think. They feel the way you feel. They feel the way I feel. They do everything the way I do everything. You do everything. So learn to see them and validate their emotions. Secondly, calm communication. If you're authoritarian, there's every likelihood that you are always yelling, shouting at the top of your voice. You are not pausing. So learn how to communicate calmly. 3, learn how to explain the whys behind the rules. The whys behind the rules. Learn how to explain the whys behind the rules. Don't impose, don't always force. There is a reason, there is a why. Learn how to explain the whys. Then listen without interrupting. Learn how to listen without interrupting. Deliberately learn how to listen without interrupting. Everybody needs this, yes. But if you're an authoritarian, there's every likelihood that your child wants to talk, triggers you, you shut them down. So learn to listen without being authoritarian. One of the things you need to drop, you need to unlearn, is fear-based control. Fear-based control. Your children need to fear you before you know you are a parent. No. Fear-based control. Unlearn fear-based control. Your children need to fear you. Unlearn it. Unlearn it. They don't need to fear you. They don't need to fear you. They need to understand you and be on the same page with you. Understand you. Nurture conviction. That is my major goal in parenting, to be able to reach the heart of my children, to nurture conviction, so that you can be sleeping and your child taps you, you say something, even if the whole world is saying A, you are saying B, because you have been able to nurture conviction in your child, they will trust you. They don't need evidence of what you are telling them, but because it's you, they will believe. So unlearn fear-based parenting and learn respect-based leadership. Learn to see your children as human beings. Learn to see their mistakes as genuine. Learn to see them as genuine. They make mistakes genuinely. They are human beings. They are not all out to frustrate you. Everything is not about, they are not deliberately out. Yesterday on Sunday, I taught my teenagers in church about vision boarding, and I've recorded the video and I've shared it here. So please, my yesterday's video I shared, go and watch it if you're in the Visionary Parent Academy. Even if you're not in the academy, go and watch the video. It will benefit you greatly. So one of the first exercises I gave them was that sit down, close your eyes, and imagine yourself at 27. And like I said in the video, 27 was just a random number I picked, not a particular number, just to represent their adult life. I just believe that 27 they would have finished school, be independent, be on their own, and be clear thinking. So 27 years, their prefrontal cortex would have been grown for them to think. Even though my daughter was telling my son that the reasoning brain of boys don't grow until they're 25, while girls grow 18. So I believe that 27 they would have been grown. That was why the random number 27. Now, all these children that told me, that sat down and closed their eyes and imagined themselves at 27, they shared what they'll be doing, where they will be, with who, what they'll be eating, wearing. None of them talked about being in jail. None of them talked about being in rehab. None of them talked about being in some kind of trouble or the other. None of them even talked about being broke. So what does that tell you? It tells that children don't wake up that they want to just be pig-headed, or they don't wake up that they want to do bad things, do negative things. They don't wake up, they don't plan it. So a lot of factors come into it. So that is it. Learn respect-based parenting and not fear-based parenting. Okay, let's go. So remember I said the authoritative parenting is the healthiest form of parenting. So I'll skip that and I'll go into the permissive parenting. If you are a permissive parent, you realize that after this class, you are a permissive parent, or in the Visionary Parent Academy, you get the template, you realize you are a permissive parent. You can join us to also get a template. Then you are going to build these skills. One, boundary setting. You need to create boundaries in your families. It is why we have our structure and our constitution. We are going to get these resources where we'll get to our structure, the classes on our structure. That should be next month, February. Then consistency. Learn to be consistent. Then another skill you want to build is saying no. No without feeling guilty. No. There is something called pains that will help your children mature. There is something called pains that will actually damage your children. As long as the pain that will help them mature, say no. Boldly say no, even to people around you. And I've shared this story before. One time I went to one of my there was one woman I used to get things from back then in Lagos. So one time I was in a shop and a woman came and she offered my son. Then I had my last son. The woman came and offered her banana, and I said, "Oh no!" And the woman was telling me, "Do you think I'm a pastor? Do you think I want to? You think say I won't give her witch chop or I want poison her?" She was telling me she's a children's lover and all of that. Madam, it's not about you. I'm teaching my son not to take things from random people, and here you are offering him a random person. No, it's not about you really. It's about the fact of what I'm teaching him. So say no, not just to your children, to people around you. So if you are permissive, learn to say no. If you are permissive, follow through with consequences. Don't set consequences randomly. Set consequences that you know that are sustainable and learn to follow through with them. And then one thing you should unlearn is approval seeking. Because most times permissive parents, they want the children to love them. You want your child to like you, to accept you. Learn to unlearn approval seeking and learn loving in firmness, firm love. Now, if you are a neglectful parent, these are the skills you will build. Presence. Presence means time and attention. Know that I'm present with my child simply means that I am there at the time and I'm giving my child attention. Presence means time plus attention. Emotional awareness. Be aware of your emotions and be aware of your children's emotion. Routine and structure. That's number 3. Routine and structure that you are subject to. Number 4 is asking for support when it is important so that you are not overwhelmed. And one thing you need to unlearn is withdrawal as a coping mechanism. That is what one of the things neglectful parents do. When they are stressed, they just withdraw. So whatever is happening to their child, they just leave their children. So children are busy raising themselves. The parents just withdraw, you know. So another thing is intentional engagement is what you need to learn. How to intentionally engage with your child. Now, if you are already an authoritative parent, here are some things you need to strengthen. One is consistency under pressure. Consistency under pressure, because pressure can make you want to slide into permissiveness. Consistency under pressure. Age appropriate expectations. Make sure your expectations are age appropriate. Self-regulation, because you also need to regulate yourself. You also need to, because when you are pressured, you realize that you either become authoritarian or you just become permissive. So you need to learn to regulate yourself, and you need to also subject yourself to learning, constant learning. Now, this is what we have for you today from the Visionary Parents Academy. If you are not with us, please register now to join us, because we are going to continue this conversation in the class. If you are already with us and you have questions, you have a lot, just come to class. Let's continue this conversation. Again, remember, it is not just about now. It's not just about now. It's about the future. A child that the world will thank us for, the world will pray for us for, not children that will become menace to the society. And one way for you to get this is to reach the heart of your child. Nurture conviction. Nurture conviction. Nurture conviction. Maybe in the Visionary Parents Academy, we are going to talk about things we do every day that may not be nurturing conviction, because our goal is to reach the heart of the child. And to reach the heart of the child, you need to learn to nurture conviction. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I apologize again for coming late, and I hope so much. My name is Enime Orebo, and this is the Visionary Parents Academy with Enime Orebo. We are waiting for you inside so that we can raise children who the world will thank us for. Have a fantastic day. And lastly, do well to share this video. Just copy the link and share. Invite other parents. Let them know that there is something happening here. There's a channel here where they are going to be transformed. Have a fantastic day.